incoming president-elect Donald Trump has tasked Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy with coming up with budget items to slash after he gets into power. In what will certainly be ignored by that commission is the Pentagon, which had announced late last week that it failed its seventh consecutive audit. What does that mean? It means that the Pentagon cannot fully account for the trillions of dollars it has in assets. So we don't know. It can't account. It failed the audit again. Now it's important to note that the Pentagon is the largest U.S. federal agency and is responsible for roughly half the government's annual discretionary spending. So if you're looking to make cuts, that would be the place to look. It has a near $1 trillion budget and cannot seem to account for most of it, and is the only major federal agency that has never passed a clean audit as required by law. So obviously, you would want to look at that and be like, hey, what? Maybe there's some waste, fraud, and abuse going on there. In fact, the latest financial assessment published Friday by the Defense Department's Inspector General Office estimates the Pentagon has $4.1 trillion in assets. Since the department first failed its audit in 2018, Congress has authorized trillions of dollars in additional military spending. So it can't, you can't account for the money that it has, the assets it has, and yet shovel more. Let's just shovel more towards it. Now, according to the Cost of War Project, more than half the department's annual budget is now spent on military contractors that are notorious for overbilling the government. So, again, I think we found the waste, fraud, and abuse, everybody. It's right here. It's in the Pentagon. Wow, take a look. There's a giant neon sign right in front of it saying, hey, the waste, fraud, and abuse, right here, right here. Yes, it's right here. If you're looking for that, if you're looking for something to cut, right here. All right. In fact, look, the Pentagon back in 2015 buried a report identifying at least $125 billion in administrative waste alone. They buried that report out of concern that the findings would be used as a justification to, quote, slash the defense budget, as the Washington Post had reported at the time. Gee, I wonder why people would come to that conclusion, right? That, hey, why don't we cut that defense budget if we're having $125 billion alone a year in administrative waste? That's 2015. And that defense budget has grown since then by hundreds of billions of dollars. Okay, so there's a lot more waste. All right, but that said, nobody's going to touch it. Nobody's going to touch it. If anything, we're going to give more money to the military-industrial complex under Donald Trump. And we're also going to get some social safety net cuts. Yeah, that's right. In fact, a large union leader issued a warning about that. Everett Kelly, president of the American Federation of Government Employees, issued this statement. Millions of Americans should brace for massive cuts to benefits and services they rely on for their survival, and are plans to target government spending and operations. On Tuesday, President-elect Donald Trump announced that he had appointed business executives Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to lead a private commission tasked with recommending drastic changes to the federal government's programs and operations, which Elon said could cut federal spending by $2 trillion. Budget cuts of this magnitude, coupled with massive tax reductions Trump said he will implement, will affect vital programs and tens of millions of Americans currently rely on for their financial security and their health and safety. This includes Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, food assistance for low-income families, veterans benefits, and healthcare, and so much more. By their very nature, cuts of this size would require slashing spending on our military, Homeland Security, federal law enforcement, and virtually every aspect of our government operations. This kind of financial pressure would lead to painful, widespread reductions in services that will affect Americans from every walk of life. To really attack government waste, the administration should target private contractors who are price gouging American taxpayers to deliver poorer service at higher cost, while their corporate profits and executive pay skyrocket. He's right. about all of that. Okay. So, yes, should go after the private contractors, especially the military contractors. um, they're the ones that are really screwing over the taxpayer, not the person that's on food stamps. You have to understand these social programs, TANF, okay, also known as welfare, okay, temporary assistance for needy families, food stamps, SNAP program, all that. People go through the budgets of that with a fine-tooth comb, okay? They're means tested. There is so much paperwork and verification, which, by the way, costs more money to do, and so many restrictions on it, okay? The fact that they have all that stuff, they do all that, means that the people who get it really do have to be desperate and needy, okay? They do not allow people to live high on the hog. All right, if you're on food stamps, you are not buying lobsters, okay, for dinner. Maybe you could buy one of them, and that's it. Okay, and then you're broke for the month. Okay, that's pretty much it. So understand that that's not where the waste, fraud, and abuse is, but that is exactly where people like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to try to convince people that's where the fraud is, that's where the waste is, in order to cut those programs, so they can give themselves tax cuts. It's social Darwinism, okay? When you understand that that's the perspective, it's not about saving money. It's not about cutting, government waste, okay? This is about social Darwinism. This is about survival of the fittest. Okay, they're going to lead to people dying. This is going to lead to starvation and death of regular people, people who can't work, or children who are sickly, can't afford food. It's going to be a death sentence for the poor, and that's the point. That's the point. So prepare for pain. Okay, because Elon Musk is out there saying, we're going to give you pain. We're going to do it so that, and the thing that he doesn't really say is so that people like me can prosper. I'm already the richest man in the world. Now I'm going to get even richer. Okay, that's the reality. And by the way, if you protest against these cuts, be prepared to deal with the very military, okay, that is full of waste, fraud, and abuse to be used against you. Okay. Donald Trump with his, it's a national emergency. I must call in the National Guard because there are people protesting. Prepare for that. But that said, there is actually somebody fighting against the real waste, fraud, and abuse. Unsurprisingly, it's Senator Bernie Sanders, who last year introduced an amendment to the annual National Defense Authorization Act that would have required the Pentagon to return a portion of its budget to the Treasury Department's general fund as a penalty for failing audits. So it's one of the few politicians out there on the left that's like, hey, let's audit the Fed. Yeah, be a great idea. I think that was also a Ron Paul idea. So great. That said, the rest of Congress, not at all interested. Gee, I wonder why. In fact, Warren Gunnels, Sanders staff director, wrote this on social media, quote, year after year, the establishment on both sides of the aisle have prevented these amendments from receiving a single roll call vote. Not a single vote. Okay? Understand, like, these are like 99 to 1, all right? Or maybe 2, right? Maybe Rand Paul joins in once in a while, right? Possibly even Mike Lee, though I can't confirm that, all right? Some might join in, but oftentimes it's usually 99 to 1. Bernie Sanders is like, let's audit the Pentagon. And everybody else that gets money from defense contractors is like, are you crazy? Oh, you crazy old socialist. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep shoving public money towards private corporations. Wait a minute. Sounds a bit fascist, but anyway. So yeah, we know where the real waste is in the Pentagon. But as we've seen, nobody in Congress, save for a few, has the balls to actually take on the most wasteful and destructive agency on the planet, the U.S. military. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.